I'm the guy holding it.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here, and of course, the World Finals are just around the corner, and what better way to get ready for the World Finals than, well, sitting down with us and talking about what possibly to expect when it comes to those World Finals. With that said, excited that we're so close. Still a little bit of time. We got a little bit over a week here, but we are just around the corner indeed. And that is our next Big Pond event coming up here. So with that said, have a podcast for you guys. Again, going to be going over basically the World Finals, focusing mainly on the teams, especially the teams from the other regions that we really haven't heard much about. That's what really today is going to be about. So with that said, I'm BreakyCPK. Of course, going to be one of your 4 hosts for today. As you see, got a plethora of hosts as usual for these podcasts. We'll start things off. I'll throw it to Minnie first. Minnie, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm looking forward to Thailand and hopefully get to learn and talk a lot about it today. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, we got plenty to talk about, that's for sure. Somebody else that's going to be joining us who also is going to be there as part of the casting crew. Excited for that. Beef, how's it going, Beef?
It's going well, man. I'm excited to talk some international Han. Get hyped because, I mean, I'm getting on a plane in like 72 hours. We heading to Thailand. We're going to be kicking off a stream in like 7 days. Dude, it's real.
Really puts it in perspective, yeah. I mean, you're right. That is just around the corner here. And then we also got somebody that not going to be in Thailand, unfortunately, but he's obviously been a...
Rub it in.
I'm sorry. But you're a great support for us, and we have you on the show for a reason, and that is because you know more than any of us the Southeast Asian scene and whatnot. So, Fantasy, how's it going, man?
It's going great. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast, so nice to be back.
Yeah, always good to have you, man. And, again, especially with the World Finals now coming up, obviously these international teams, and you seem to be the guy that has plenty of the information when it comes to that. So excited to have you on the show for that, and definitely thank you for that. So with that said, guys, again, that's what today's going to be about, really. Going to be about the World Finals, again, focusing on the teams here pretty much for the most part. So definitely excited to start talking about it. We'll pretty much jump right into it with let's start with the general. The general here, the World Finals that is to be. Now, in case you guys missed it, the website for the World Finals actually did launch yesterday in the afternoon. And let me go ahead and pull it up right here for you guys. So there we go. Go live. There we go. So this is what I'm talking about. Of course, the website. If you go to hontour.com, actually /World Finals, or if you just go to hontour.com, click on the banner at the top, and it'll take you to this. So this sweet website that was created by our Han team here behind the scenes. Definitely excited for it, and it's very sleek, but it also gets all the information across that you're looking for. So, of course, March 28th and the 29th are the dates. We've known that for a while now. As far as the actual breakdown of the event and how it's going to be looking, again, we got 10 teams in total from around the world that are going to this event. You kind of see the breakdown right here as far as where they're coming from. You got, well, technically 4 ended up being from Thailand. It says 2 from Thailand, but, of course, the wildcard teams as well. Also being from Thailand, you got 2 from North America and Europe, of course, 1 from Indonesia, 1 from Malaysia, 1 from China, and 1 from CIS on top of that. So definitely, again, all over the world here we're talking about when it comes to these World Finals, and definitely this is one of the bigger events that we have when it comes to an international event. So it starts with the group stages. There will be 5 teams in each group of the 10 teams. The top 2 from each group then advance on into a double elimination, or no, it's a single elimination bracket, excuse me, where it's best of 3 into a best of 5, of course, for that grand final. So looking forward to it. That's how it's going to all play out. So a format that we've definitely had before and should be excited about. But let's just talk about, again, the general here. We'll start with you, Minnie. What do you think of this event as a whole and looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it's just completely international. Excuse me. Like, you have all the teams from all the different regions, so they're bringing their own sort of signature play style, their signature heroes, and I think it's going to be really good to sort of see how Han can be played in different ways. Obviously, we're normally used to seeing how the NA and EU teams run it, but I'm looking forward to sort of see how the CIS teams in Thailand run, like, different heroes and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it. That's
always a very attractive thing of an event like this. Definitely the unknown is for sure going to be there. So, Beef, what about you? What are you most excited for? What are you looking forward to in the World Finals?
Okay. For me, it's twofold. One, being able to get to see my Han family is always incredible. Getting to hang out with everybody for close to a full week and see all the players, see all the casters, meet some new faces and stuff. That's always awesome. Two, like Minnie said, getting to see that international competition. And for me, I'm really excited to actually see the Chinese teams because, as far as I'm concerned, they're either going to be amazing or complete garbage. And I don't know which.
One or the other.
Because China, in almost every other esport that they're involved in, they have some of the most dominating teams out there. The work ethic, the natural skill, whatever it is over there, it's something amazing. Now, they've got the slightly different client over there. We're not exactly sure how much exposure they're going to have on the international client and our rule set and everything, but I'm excited,
skill.
man. World Elite. They got a big name to live up to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit about them later on in the show, of course, but that is going to be intriguing to see, especially a team like that, what they bring to the table. Fantasy, well, what about you? What are you most excited for?
I'm always looking forward to the international teams competing against the NAU elite. I'm talking them up every single time, and every single time they fail me. So I just hope that they somehow win something, validating like 4 years of riding them up to that one peak moment, the World Championship of a Thai team or something.
This has to be it, right? This has to be the year.
It's gonna be. This is the one. This is the run.
Is the one. I know we said that before, but no, this is the one. Yeah, it really feels like that. Definitely, this has to be the best chance. I think it's very safe to say. I think that's the best way to put it. Probably, it's the best chance that the outside regions of North America and Europe have had a good chance of actually making something happen here at what is an international event. Again, we've only had so many of these. Of course, we've had the World Finals last year. We had the GSL event a year before that. And then on top of that, I've had a couple of DreamHacks, I believe, that have involved Southeast Asia and CIS and whatnot. But unfortunately, it just seems like they always just fall short when it comes to results. But this year, we'll see if something's different. One other thing to touch on here, again, speaking of the World Finals, kind of the general overview. Taking a glance once again at the site information. As you see also, this is the prize pool official, if you haven't heard yet. Over $185,000 US dollars on the line. So safe to say, yeah, the biggest prize pool Heroes of New Earth has ever had. So pretty good timing for that, I think it's safe to say. And on top of that, you also look at, the base is only $80,000, but the community funding kicking in. Fantastic job from the community. Big shout out to the community. And it's always been it's been a fun ride with the community funding. Obviously other games kind of started it, and it's been a trend now in esports in general, and it's working in Han like it is elsewhere. Over 100,000 of that dollars of their prize pool because of you. But one thing I really want to stress here is it's kind of been a little bit different in past events, not as top heavy as far as breakdown goes for these international, but this time around it's pretty heavy on the top end. $87,000 to the winner. That's followed up by $30,000 for second place. So now, just for getting there, you do get a cool $5,000 cash on top of that. But
does that include casters or not?
You don't get shit.
You're there, and you'll like
man.
it. That's what you get. Maybe a chocolate chip cookie or two. We'll decide.
Oh, man.
Maybe. I said maybe. So yeah, that's something else. Obviously, again, that's big reason to be really invested into these World Finals here, and
the food.
And looking for it. So the food, yes, the food.
Oh God!
Let's talk
no.
about the food.
Let's be honest. You put that in your interview. The thing you were most excited for in Thailand was the hotel food.
See, that
I was a little bit disappointed with that. It's like this amazing country,
that's not
amazing
the
land,
only
and you're
thing
like,
I put.
I am staying at
sure
home.
That was the number one thing you put.
I'm staying home, and I read that.
Yeah.
Like, I was furious, man.
The pad thai is pretty damn good in Thailand. So
I heard the women are really good looking as well. So
They don't have a.
the women
Never
that
mind.
are
The Adams apple.
Never mind.
The
Let's,
Adams apple.
that's it's a iffy conversation there that we're going. So you'll find out soon enough, Minnie. You'll find out soon enough.
They're gonna raise their dongers for you.
It really is a fantastic place, though. No, I know. Yeah, it really is. No, it's a lot of fun, and one of the cool things that we get to do going into it is we get to travel around a little bit as far as now. Actually, that brings up a good point. One of the cool things that we do get before the actual event, so it's March 28th and the 29th. Obviously, we're getting out there. I think it's the 25th is a day where technically, even late on the 24th is when we actually get out there. The 26th, I want to say, so 2 days before the actual event, we'll be doing a live drawing. It's going to be, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but it's usually a pretty nice place that we go to. We hang out, we have a dinner and everything, and then they actually do a live drawing to decide those groups that we're talking about. And that's really cool. That to me is one of the more exciting things you can have about a sporting event in general is, figuring out what the groups are going to look like. With that live drawing atmosphere. So we'll definitely do our best to get some coverage from that, of course, and bring it to you guys to let you know how that goes. But so with that said, again, we don't know yet. We don't know yet how it's all going to play out as far as the groups go and how they look. And that's going to be one of the first interesting things to look forward to. So what you looking forward to the group drawings there, Minnie?
Yeah, I think it's quite important as well, depending on who gets on what group stages. Normally, every single LAN tournament, there is like a group of death, even in like the qualifiers. So,
yeah,
be interesting to sort of see who matched up against who. See what happens from there. Really, looking forward to it.
Definitely.
I think that it's actually going to be really important how it's done because we're not exactly even sure right now how it's drawn, but even making sure that our two NAEU teams are in the different groups. Like, I don't know if that's predetermined that they will be in different groups. It just depends on which group they're going into.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they end up in the same group, all of a sudden it's like, boom, is one of those teams going to get knocked out in the group stage? Like, you lose like one match to some team that you probably shouldn't lose to. And I mean, let's face it, last year Stay Green did lose one match and almost lost a second in a group of 4 last year. Like, to say that you might not lose 2 matches this year to one of these unknown teams, or one of the teams that we just don't know as much about, you might as well just be out of the groups right there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, and I'm not sure, and that's going to be interesting to find out. I would figure, perhaps splitting 2 of the tied teams in each one and then 2 of the North American European teams in each one would probably make sense then going from there, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the planned case, to be honest, so that could turn out very interesting if that's not the case. But even if it is, obviously it should still be pretty intriguing to see how that plays out. Now, that's also another good point. Last year, I believe it was a best of 2 in the group stages, so they played 2 games. That's where you talk about MOR did upset Stay Green at one of those games that they played against them. But this year, it's actually just straight up best of 1. It's only a 2-day event this year, unlike last year where it was a 3-day event. So with the one less day, a little less matches in that sense, more to the point. I personally like that. I mean, especially, with this international scene, it really stresses you better be prepared going into this event because you do not want to be caught off guard in a one-game format, obviously. And that could be very possible with how it's set up here. So really interested to see how these teams are doing their research. So
it makes it more dangerous for the teams that we have that are favored, and a lot of people actually don't like best of 1s in most games for these group stages. But for us, hoping to maybe even see one of those upsets from the Southeast Asian teams to break out, maybe this is going to be their chance. So last year we had Stay Green, who had a very perfected strategy that they were excellent at excelling, and it generally did punish those off-the-wall strategies. We'll see if the strategy from a team like Bad Monkey Gaming, who, I mean, some people have notably said maybe that team even themselves don't know what they do, but somehow it works. Are they going to be able to stand up to every possible best of 1 pocket strat that can be thrown at them? I mean, that's got to be something you got to really worry about.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's going to be fun to watch. And again, that's the first day. The 28th will be the group stages. The 29th will be the bracket stage, finding out the top 2 teams from each group. So both days filled with plenty of HON action, just constantly changing it up, and going to be a blast. Anyways, let's start talking about these teams now. So we've gone over the general overview here of what to expect and how it should look like. Again, HONtour.com, guys. You go there, you click on the banner at the top, the World Finals banner. It takes you to the great website. All the information, not only on the format, but also, as we're about to do here, on the teams. At least the team, just a sort of bio of them, and of course the roster that we're looking at for each of the teams, so you can kind of get an idea of these players from these other regions. And that's what we're also going to do here, is break down now the teams of 10 teams. So we'll start it off pretty simple here. We'll start it off with what we all know, and that is, of course, the one and only Sync Esports. It's safe to say these guys are the favorite, and not only from our region, but internationally. I mean, because of the results that have happened when it comes to NAEU in these international events, they've been so dominant. We've talked about them before. We keep bringing it up. Sync Esports is the dominant team right now, and they're going to be the ones to beat. So no doubt they're the ones with a big target on their back. They're the Stay Green of this event, I think is a good way to put it. So, but Sync Esports here, is there any reason you guys think we should believe that these are not the this is not the top dog, Minnie?
No, I think they definitely are. We've seen it from the past cycles of Hon Tour, and just going in terms of what we've seen from other international events, the NAEU teams are always the top dogs in terms of all the other regions, and if Sync are the top dogs in NAEU, then logic dictates that they would be top in terms of the whole world as well, I'd assume.
What about you, Beef? So. Any different opinions on Sync Esports?
I mean, Sync, it's really hard to say about them. They are the most dominant team out there right now. Quincy just put out that awesome stats article. And when you're pushing a 75% win rate, what else is there to say? Your worst hero is a 75% win rate. They are the closest thing to stay green that we've seen. And I think that they're definitely the favorites going forward here. And they're going to be the ones that you definitely expect to breeze through those group stages.
Fantasy, anything to add?
No, I don't see any reason to believe Sync Esports is going to fall. Usually when something like this happens and we have like a dominant team, we try to create some bullshit storyline that they are going to be nervous or whatever. We tried it for Noob G, or that he's going to choke on LAN or whatever. These guys have all been there. They've been to Thailand. They've been to DreamHack. They're not going to falter under pressure.
Yeah, I got to agree there. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, too, that they have the experience, unlike a lot of teams, really, especially the other team coming from North America and Europe, of course, that being Bad Monkey Gaming, whereas they haven't even met each other in real life, and you gotta definitely consider that to possibly be a factor here. So, but Sync Esports know that they're experienced. And actually, Fantasy, I got a question for you. Do you know, like, if the teams out there in Southeast Asia, like, do they know Sync Esports is the team to beat, too? Do they feel that way, you think?
Yes, Sync Esports is the one team they know everything about. Like, Slapped is super popular over there. His stream, his videos are getting translated in Thai to the Thai language, like with subtitles and stuff. They know about Sync Esports. They know that they're the best team NAU is sending, and they are going to prepare for them specifically, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point, too, because Sync is the one team, I mean, again, kind of like Styrian was last year, too, where internationally it seems like they really knew them as well. So, in a sense, you would think that they're almost at a disadvantage when it comes to that because it's so publicized. They're so publicized as players. You mentioned Zlap definitely does a lot of his personal videos that kind of showcases how he plays, what he thinks of heroes and stuff. So, that information is out there, unlike a lot of these teams. So, you kind of wonder how that may phase things when it comes to this event. But yeah, it sounds like we're all under the same boat that this is definitely the team to beat here at this event, and no one even slightly thinking differently. Now, speaking of Sync Esports, let's also bring on somebody from Sync Esports. Figure this is a good time for that, of course, and I'm gonna do some on-the-fly editing here real quickly once he joins up. Slapped.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Wait, I'm trying to figure out here how to turn on my damn cam. And I'm sorry for all the background noise, but there's a lot of people here. Ogre is captain as well. Jesus.
Is that old Sync?
Except Mickey, yeah. He's at home, and then we have Klukmuk here from Ogre.
Oh, look at that.
How the hell do I turn on my cam?
You press the camera button.
There's no camera button for me. Is it because I have an old version of Skype, maybe?
Probably.
I guess that may be the case. Well, we got audio. That's what matters. So
yeah.
Here, I'll drag this. I'll put this.
The Skype picture, nice.
Yeah, the Skype picture. There we go. There we got something. Anyways, Slapped, welcome to the call. So you're currently you're with everyone. Case is there as well.
Yes, Case is here as well.
Nice.
Well, we were originally 5 last weekend, but sadly, Casey was sick with tonsillitis for 2 or 3 days there, so we had to play as 4 with Mickey, of course. And then when Mickey left back home because he has school, obviously, and he's going to be in Thailand for a week, he can't take 2 weeks off. He went home to go to school, and then, yeah.
Gotcha.
So right now we're 4 players, and then Klukmuk arrived yesterday or 2 days ago, and yeah, he's a great guy too. So we're 5 right now.
Right on, right on. So you guys have been practicing already quite a bit here. Safe to say, doing the boot camp thing, as you're kind of referring to. How you guys feeling so far? You feeling like you're ready to go?
Yeah, we're feeling great. We're feeling very confident, and we're all just really eager to go to Thailand and show what we're made of.
Now, we were just talking about that, and it's pretty much a general consensus that you guys are the team to beat, and that's it's hard to doubt that. Now, this is, I don't want to say unfamiliar territory because you've kind of been that team now in North America, Europe for a little bit, but going into this international event, last year you got third place with Async Esports, but you had Stay Green and the BMG of that time ahead of you guys. You guys are the focus, though, in this event. Are you almost like, are you feeling the pressure? Are you almost worried about that? Or are you feeling good with that?
I think as Fantasy said, because I was sneakily listening to...
I think if Breaky asks him, he's probably going to say something like, I played absolutely perfect every game. I was a shining star of our team, pretty much every series. That's what I think, Mo.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
Aiden, you're my shining star. That's it.
Oh. Okay, what was even the question? Aiden got me off.
About the target being on your back and being the top team going into this, does that concern you, or you like it even?
As Fantasy said before I joined here, I don't think we're a team that's going to fall to pressure or like choke on LAN or anything like that. Even when our first LAN, which was DreamHack 2013, there was no one who choked or anything like that. So I am definitely not worried about that at all.
Yeah. Now, we're gonna start talking. We're gonna break down at least a little bit here of the international teams, as much as we know, the little bit of research that we've done. How much research have you guys done? How confident are you guys about these other teams now, Southeast Asia, CIS, and whatnot?
Choke on LAN. Choke, I think. I don't think choke.
Shut up.
Going on now.
Okay, so I started actually casting the Thailand teams 2 weeks ago. That was the first time that I looked them up before the event. But there's still a lot of research to be made and a lot of things to look into. But I think we feel pretty confident against the international teams as well. And then BMG, of course, we've known for a long time. They haven't been able to beat us at best of 3 series yet, and we're very confident against them as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about BMG. You know, kind of your counterparts here, and some from the North American European region. Do you think BMG has a good shot here at this event? Are you kind of worried for them, or you're not really thinking about them at all?
Considering I don't know if they're gonna be in our group or not. Nevertheless, I still feel it's important that they do not underestimate the other teams. As you said yourself, Stay Green actually lost a game in almost 2 to the Thai teams. So if they're going unprepared or too overconfident and just feel like they're gonna beat every other team, then that's gonna be a mistake on their part. But if they go in very looking into the other teams, I feel like they're gonna be doing good for sure.
All right, and
they had a very interesting strategy that I don't think the Thai teams are used to, and that is also and as you said, the other teams are mostly aware of Sync and not really about the Tree/BMG lineup. So maybe they are not really looking into BMG that much, and if they don't, then that will be bad for them, the Thai teams and the other international teams.
No, that is definitely fair. So, do you see any other scenario other than you guys winning the World Finals coming up?
I'm not going to say we're going to win. I'm not going to say we're going to lose. We're going to go in there to win, and that's all there is to say about it.
All right, fair enough. Let's pass it around now, just real quickly. Manny, we'll start with you. Any questions for Zlapt?
Yeah. So you said you've been doing a little bit of research onto the teams, but who do you think is going to be the top team outside of, say, yourself or Sig Esports going into the event?
To be completely honest, before I started looking into them, I thought that MRR was the best team in Thailand. But then when I looked into it and I asked my translator, all right, so who's the best team in Thailand? Apparently, there's been some updates by D-Dog and what's the other name? HBX.
Snoop Dogg and Hybrid. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg and Hybrid, yeah. So those 2 teams have apparently been beating MRR a lot. So originally I thought it was MRR, but, well, we're going to look into all the teams. But I don't think there's anything else to say about that MRR, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're going to treat every team equally and look them all up in the same way. Obviously, we have some experience playing against MRR before and 2 of the players from the Hybrid, so we played against them before.
Mm-hmm. All right. Beef, you have any questions? Beef's good. Fantasy.
Beef died.
He's just dead altogether. Okay. Fantasy, you got anything else?
Nah, you asked the question I wanted to ask about preparation.
No. All right.
You answered it very...
All right, Zlap, sounds like you guys are just having too much fun over there. Any shout-outs you want to make here?
We're having a great time. Well, shout out to Cooler Master, and then, of course, a Good Game Linköping, where we've been boot camping for free here, and GamingButiken.com. So thank you very much for letting us boot camp here, of course. And yeah, Cooler Master, and to you guys for... I've really been impressed by the way the pre-event has been handled. The website looks awesome and stuff like that. So yeah, well done on that part. And thank you for having us on the podcast. And
he's having a great time.
Yeah. Do you turds have anything to say? No?
Nice.
Ogreland? Okay, nothing? Alright, well,
Dude, shout
no.
out to Ogre, dude. They made
Shout out
Thailand.
to Ogre, okay.
Dude,
There you go.
shout out to Ogre because they made Thailand.
Oh, that's rude.
No.
Wow.
Oh, wait, yeah, thanks for having us
All
on.
right, thanks, Laugh. Thanks, Sync Esports. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya.
Can somebody...
Okay.
Shout to Brion or Tough right there.
Oh,
Joining
jeez.
us.
Guys.
Oh, dang. Shots fired. All right, let me fix this here now. Okay.
Guys, I don't know what's going on with my gear.
Beef's just like
It's
broken
just-
all sorts, dude.
It's just a rip, dude. I'm ripping in pepperonis right now.
Well, we got your beautiful face on the screen still, so that's a matter.
Yay!
You also got your potato voice.
Just a little bit, not too bad. All right, so yeah, that's Sync Esports, more so slapped right there. They're having fun. They're having some fun clearly, and that's good to hear because again, there's a reason why they are on top, and you know that's one of the interesting things too. I'm thinking back to last match. A lot of people were talking about State Green, how it didn't seem like they were really preparing as much as people expected. And they weren't maybe taking it as seriously as people expected. And I think even Kyle talked about that, how they didn't even really scrimmage for a while there going to the World Finals. And, you know, obviously they ended up winning at the end still. But it does seem like Sync Esports, at least in that perspective, they're attempting to be a little bit more prepared from what we can tell. I mean, would you guys agree? Anyone? Minnie?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. They just seem that they really want to like win in terms of go out showing that they are the champions, and there's no almost doubt that they are the champions. So I think they're taking it very, very seriously in terms of taking it. And I mean, like they have shown throughout the whole of Hansa Season 3 that they are probably the top dogs, and they want to show that to the world as well. It's the biggest stage, so that makes sense.
All right. Well, this isn't just a Sync Esports show. This is a World Final show, damn it. So let's continue things on here. Let's start talking about the other teams now. Of course, the one other team from our region, that being Bad Monkey Gaming here, formerly known as Willowkeeper, now known as BMG, of course. These guys, you know, definitely quite the trek to get here. Throughout the regular season, they were looking like the top second tier team for you know, up and down, and then things started to go a little south in the later part of the season. Teams like Reason Gaming and Nullstone Gaming started stepping up, and even Fresh, as we saw at the very end. And before we knew it, we had a playoff where it was really, we had no clue who was going to be taking it. By the time the Final Four came around, any of those teams could have won it, and I don't think anyone would have been really that surprised. But in the end, Willowkeeper, now known as Bad Monkey Gaming, they did take the Final Four, and thus they are going to the World Finals. And you know, a lot of me at the same time was kind of almost happy to see that, because they've been together for a while. They've been together for a long time here, the same five-man team, especially all throughout the season. And I think that does have to count for something, and I think that may have been the biggest difference in the end, perhaps. So thoughts on BMG, Minnie?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've been, like you said, the longest together. I think they've tried almost the hardest as well. Speaking to Fusen as well, like I remember back when, you know, they weren't even that big of a team with Tree. Like the first start of the Season 3, they were screaming every single day, and it clearly shows that effort really does come out in terms of success. So really good to sort of see them there, and I'm looking forward to sort of meeting them in Thailand as well. Good friends. So.
Beef, what do you think about BMG here?
I think that the BMG name, I mean, the Lions name, even before that, is definitely a legendary one. It comes with a lot of aggression, a lot of YOLO team play. And I think that the guys from Willowkeeper, formerly Willowkeeper, can definitely keep that up. I think that their first event on LAN is going to be a very big test for them. So I think that day one is actually going to be when we kind of see, are these guys going to be able to perform the same way online or offline as they have been for the past year online, or are they going to have problems, as so many teams do? So I think that's really going to be interesting. But also looking to meet those guys in real life for the first time. I'm a big Boxy fan.
Yeah.
Big old Boxy fan.
I want to definitely get a selfie with Boxy, man. That's going to be the #1 priority when we get to Thailand. Getting that pic with Boxy.
Easy.
Best player in the world. Yeah, no. Fantasy, what do you got?
I'm just super happy that they made it. I've been following the Willowkeeper team for a long time. Fusen and I are good friends. He's a troll just like me, so we get along very, very good. And I was super happy when I saw and heard that they made it. And I hope they know what they're getting into on the stage. Shaky hands.
Yeah.
16 years old, Boxy.
Yeah. I'm just really glad Boxy's mum's coming. To be fair, that's the biggest thing. I'm glad BMG going.
That moral support.
There you go. Bring the spaghetti.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, it's again going back to the lack of LAN experience. That I think that's kind of the one thing that a lot of people, everyone really is kind of looking to see how it affects things. And yeah, as you said, you don't have a whole lot of time to really adjust. You only get to play 4 games on that day one, and if you don't do better than 50-50, you're not moving on. Basically, you need to win at least 3 of those games, most likely, if not all 4. To be moving on. So you got to basically just be ready to go. And it's one thing to meet up for the first time in real life and, be in each other's presence when you're playing the game. But at the same time as well, this is not a DreamHack event necessarily where, sure, it's a LAN. I mean, there's a lot going around you. But at the same time, you're allowed to be, pretty focused on what you're doing. And not say that you won't be able to do that here, but it's a loud venue, man. It's a loud venue, and I've been there twice now myself, both with GSL and, of course, last World Finals. I know you have beef, and it's crazy. There's a lot of things going on around you that can easily distract you.
There's a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. So you really have to make sure that you're just focusing, obviously, what's in front of you on that monitor, and that's going to be the thing for me that could hurt BMG the most.
Now, with that said, according to the schedule we have, at least, they are probably getting a full day to practice there on LAN. And I mean, I can't say that the LAN event of being in a cafe together is going to be the same as, when the fans there and the music's going and the lights are all there, everything like that. But at least having some of that practice, sitting 5 players in a row, that'll help if they get 12 hours of that in on that Friday.
Of course, yeah. All right, well, so that's BMG, obviously, and I was trying to see about getting in touch with one of their players, but unfortunately he's not responding, so let me just try one more time, and if not, we'll be moving on. Oh, well. Let's start talking about, anyways, yeah, he's not responding yet, so if he comes around, maybe bring him back on, but let's continue things here. Let's continue things with, now I'm talking about the international scene here. We'll start with the CIS side. CIS talking about, of course, Cats Gaming. Now, a team we should be at least somewhat familiar with when it comes to these guys and what they've done in the international HAN scene. They've been to several DreamHacks. They've been to the GSL. They were there last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So these are guys that are experienced when it comes to LAN. They're also happen to be the oldest team as far as age goes. I mean, I think they vary from anywhere from 23 to 27 years old. So, and honestly, that's not even that old, but in esports, it actually is considered pretty old. So they got the experience, they got the age in that sense, or they're wiser, you could say. Yeah, no, they had quite the run to get here and qualify out of CIS. But again, they're going to be representing that region. Fantasy, we'll start with you on these guys. So you got anything, what are your big points about Cats Gaming here?
First of all, Cats Gaming is like one of the most stable teams in like all of HAN, I would say. These guys have been together, like Guess Who, Sheila, and FF have been on this team for, I think, almost 3 years. Before CIS even got their own server region, they were together and they played in a bunch of international tournaments and like all these little online cups that, if you can remember, like UNGL and all that kind of little stuff.
Yeah.
So they definitely know each other. Then they got Artmeister, or as you probably also still know him, Fluff and Stuff.
That's right.
And that changed their whole team, made them like the really, really dominant force in the CIS scene. And now they finally have to like show something on the international stage. They are the team that always been eliminated first in those cups, always ended up last in the tournaments they've played once the international teams came around, and they got to show up.
Yeah. I'm really expecting these guys to do very well this year, honestly, and I know they haven't been able to have the biggest performances in the past when it comes to international, but I really think that this is going to be, especially they're going to surprise some people. But Minnie, I know you've been doing your research here on all these teams and as much as you can. What did you take away from Cats Gaming? What you saw?
I think Cats Gaming are honestly the team that are most like NAEU teams in terms of their strategy and their understanding of their game. They are incredibly well experienced, I think. And from what I've seen as well, they are able to bust out any kind of strategy depending on the draft, which suits them best. Very similar to sort of what Sync can do. Like Sync can one game pull out like a hard carry strat. They can pull out like an all-in strat like Stay Green-esque or team fight, for example. And I've seen a lot of that. Cats Gaming do a lot as well. So from that point alone, I think actually Cats Gaming are going to be probably the most fierce opponent outside of obviously BMG and Sync. From that alone, from what I've seen, anyway, I just think they're very, very strong in that respect. So.
Beef, what do you got to add about these guys?
I think the biggest thing about the CIS region right now is the amount of competition that they've had, the amount of different teams that have won their cycles in their gold division of Han Tour over there, which is their highest division, the different cups, the fact that we did not know who was going until the very last minute, until that last final event. It could have been any of those teams over there. So they've really had a lot more competition rather than just one team with that regional dominance. And I think that's what's going to pay off for them once they get to Thailand.
Yeah, that's a good point. I believe their grand finals, it was against QAM, or was it against Mecca? It was against Quam, okay. Yeah, Mecca's another one of those top-tier teams over there that could have been it too. But it went all 5 games. It was best of 5, and it ended up going the distance, I'm pretty sure. So, they had to win the final one to ultimately qualify. Yeah, again, very, very close competition over there, apparently. And they were able to squeak through. So, yeah, CIS seen it as well. We kind of overlook them perhaps sometimes compared to the Southeast Asian scene, but definitely expecting. Now, as far as, I also kind of picked up on some interesting things about them. We talked about FF as a carry. He's a fun carry. He's a really strong carry player for them. Going back to him real quickly on the pulling up the image here for you guys. So yeah, this is FF here again. All these guys have been around for a while, but yeah, he's a very, very comfortable carry player. And one of the things we're noticing too, they like to. It almost seems like they like to play pretty aggressive lanes. They like to do the dual lane aggressive. We see that from Nullstone Gaming every now and then here in the North American European scene, and so that's what it kind of reminded me of. They're not afraid to be aggressive in that sense. They ran Arachna carry several times as well, and I wonder if that may be busted out here when it comes to these World Finals, possibly. But was there anything else from you guys that you may think that could be like shock us a little bit or off guard, or catch us off guard even?
Blacksmith. They love
That's
Blacksmith. Right. The entire region loves Blacksmith, but Cats especially plays him as a second support. A bit like the ogre in Dota, just chasing people, clubbing them down.
Getting those frenzies off. Yeah, no. Hey, he's always been an underrated hero in my mind. So glad to hear somebody's using him. So. Yeah, Bushwhack's also up on FF's most play. People are pointing out again. That's a hero we will probably see 1 or 2 times at these World Finals. Seems pretty popular internationally. So, anything else as far as anything crazy you guys noticed?
I know they've been busting out a couple of Arachna games, but
yeah,
nothing. Like I said, I think the biggest thing is that they play a lot of different things, so they don't have a almost signature in that respect. But,
yeah. Beef?
I think that Blacksmith, man. If they bust that out on the big stage, and it's just like, boom, 4x, boom, 4x. Then he gets the staff of the master, and then he's smacking people with his little hammers, and then getting more 4x's for free and refreshing. Oh, man.
That just could be wonders.
I'm just getting Irish thinking about it, man.
still recovering being Irish.
There you go.
Hey, for best of 1 games in a group stages, the Blacksmith seems like a kind of hero that you roll the dice, baby, roll the dice. So I know Tree has used it right now. BMG they did use it several times throughout the regular season, and they actually did fairly well with it from what I recall. So we have at least seen it before, but that could be fun to see if they bust it out or not at the World Finals. All right, so that's Cats Gaming there, again, representing CIS and a lot of experience that they are bringing to the table. Next team on the list, going over to Southeast Asia now, specifically Thailand in this case. Now, these guys, They were known apparently as Snoop Dogg. However, then they changed their name to Acer Dog when they picked up a sponsorship. But originally they were Snoop Dogg. They were actually the first team out of Thailand to qualify. And, I mean, I was looking at these names and the team name itself, and not names that I personally really recognize. So that was kind of very interesting to see that they were able to do that. But busting it out over there, and again, they're going to be representing one of the 4 teams that happen to be out of Thailand. But, again, the first ones to qualify. But again, we'll start with you, Fantasy, first. So what is Acer Dog about?
Acer Dog is a very interesting team. Usually the Thai scene kind of focuses on one player in specific and tries to tailor their game plan to just one player. And Acer Dog is completely different. They play as a team, as a unit. They are comfortable with 3-man rotations. They are comfortable just grouping up for the mid game. And they are one of the smartest teams in all of Thailand. You see, what the problem of Thai teams usually was that they overextended themselves. They went into fights when they were ahead. They just tried to force the issue. They just tried to team fight all the time, and then they lost those team fights, and they all of a sudden they were super far behind. This team knows when to pick fights. They know how to engage. They can orchestrate. They can set baits. They are a very, very smart team, and it's something unusual for the Thai teams to play with that kind of coordination.
Was it really surprising for Thailand over there when this team was the first unit qualifier, or were they an expected team?
It was a huge upset, actually. MRR won basically all cycles except the first one. And this team got gradually better. The first cycle, they missed out on the playoffs. Then they got third. Then they got second. And all of a sudden, then they won the big offline event. They first beat MRR, and then in front of the big cinema stage that we've seen on pictures so many times, they even, I think, 2-0'd or 3-0'd. It was a best of 5, 3-0'd hybrid.
Okay, well that's
wasn't expected at all.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, it kind of felt that way when I saw these guys and hear that they were first call. I was like, wait, who? I was at least expecting one of the usual name teams, but yeah, no. So very interesting stuff there. Minnie, what did your research say on these guys that you were able to pick up on?
First of all, they're a really, really solid team. Their offlaner and their mid player are very, very good in terms of synergistic plays. They roam a lot together and find a lot of kills on the map. And I think that's kind of signature to the Thai teams in general, honestly. They find a lot of kills, and something that, honestly, I don't see a lot of international teams do. For the international teams, maybe we have one kind of player ganking all the whole team, whereas in this particular team, they have their mid and their offlaner find a lot of kills and creates a lot of space for their carry. Not only that, but Bad Bats, I think, is the secondary support. He's an incredibly versatile player and plays a lot of different things, where it's from jungle or sort of secondary support. I'm talking about heroes like second support Vindicator, second support like Cersei, Behemoth, obviously not too out of the ordinary, but incredibly versatile player and very, very solid on almost any hero I've seen him play. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that team. I think that they could easily cause upsets because very, very strong team, as I said before.
Bad Bats, yeah. Look forward to that jungle player there. Yeah, and you also put it. It seemed like they really drafted really strongly compared to a lot of teams. Yeah. So, Beef. Anything you got about these guys?
Oh, I think, as Fantasy was saying right there, when they actually went through the grand finals over there in Thai Han Tour, I think that a lot of people saw Snoop Dogg overperforming maybe a little bit in comparison to the other teams, and they've actually already started their next season of Thai Han Tour down there. And I believe, Fantasy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Snoop Dogg has actually been doing quite a bit worse. I mean, maybe in a little bit of a slump here leading into the grand finals.
They dropped off. They were only 5th or something after the group stage, but the same can be said for MR. They missed out on the playoffs as well. So the only team that's looking really solid is Myth.
Yeah, Myth Hybrid, definitely the ones with momentum from the Thai scene making their way in there, and of course Chiangmai Wardens as well. But the other thing about this team to look out for, their Mad Scientist outfits. They're pretty sick. Breaky, unfortunately, you did not have the pictures up when you were going through there, but be on the lookout for the Mad Scientist by Acer Snoop Dogg v Nitro, because it's pretty legit. Their uniforms are pretty legit.
Yeah, no, it's I didn't include them in the graphics yet, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah, seeing what they decided to run with there when it came with their outfits, but I'm sure having some fun with it as well. So, but yeah, so there's Ace for Dog, guys. And again, the first team, like I said, to qualify out of Thailand, that should definitely speak for something when it comes down to it. So, keeping things going here, let's talk about another team that happens to be from Thailand. One that actually qualified, the last team to qualify, I think even overall. I believe I'm pronouncing Chiang Mai Warden, I believe is how it goes, as Fantasy has a little bit of a chuckle there. Is that even I mean, how would you do it?
I have no Chiang Mai Warden. I don't know.
Chiang Mai Warden!
That's not.
That was highly racist.
That was very racist.
You were fired.
I was just trying to get involved in
I'm calling him the Chiang Mai Warden. That's it. Until Chiang Mai Warden. Until somebody tells me something other than that, that's what I'm going with.
I'm gonna have Ty tell you the exact pronunciation.
I can do it. Sure, fine.
I will say their logo is really badass. I do like their logo. Compared to
can we just put them like Emerald Warden instead?
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
Well, I think Chiang Mai is actually like a region in Thailand, right? That they're representing technically, yeah. So
so the way this team came together or worked is that they had like a regional, regional playoffs, something. They like Thailand, Han in Thailand is super big. They have high school rankings, college rankings, and so they made like a little TV show or web show or whatever the case may be, with 4 teams representing a certain region. And it was Chiang Mai Warden, it was a team from Phuket, a team from Bangkok, and another one I don't know.
Okay.
But there were 4 teams and representing a certain region. So this team is fairly new. They were basically casted for this show and were thrown together. And this is the one team that does not have a pro gamer in their midst.
Yeah, you're pointing that out, and that was also very interesting to hear. Though they kind of got it's like almost like a reality TV show that they do, where they have the 4 teams, like you pointed out, representing the regions and kind of filming them while they're playing and stuff, and then also having those weekly and daily matches even in some cases. So yeah, but they happen to be the one of those 4 to help represent Thailand once again at this event here. So, Minnie, what did you learn about these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I know they're a lot of the Thai teams, but this team in special is very all about hard carries. And one thing that I've seen as well, like with the hard carry they play, or the carry that plays, is it's very, very aggressive. Can farm up the lanes quite aggressively. But I know they play a lot of actually second support Master of Arms, which has the ability to sort of save the carry player, obviously with the red Master Skull, which allows him to play a lot more aggressive. Plays a lot of like Dark Lady, and all those are very, very hard carries, like Dark Lady, for example. So, yeah, they're a strong team, almost similar to Nullstone in that respect, in terms of they like their games going late. So,
yeah. Beef, you find anything about these guys?
Honestly, not a whole lot. The TEL games that they had over there just finished up even just a couple days ago. These were the last teams to actually qualify for this event. But mostly what these guys said, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys that are not technically pro players transition onto the pro scene and, of course, compete with these very, very dedicated players. When you look at the team names of MRR and Myth, and you look at the players, the 10 players on those teams, you see some guys that have been playing this game for 3 and 4 years on the international level, guys that were at the very first DreamHack that had representation from the Southeast Asian scene. To see these guys coming in from, the high school level, the regional level, and then trying to compete with the big boys, not only within that Thai region, but of course the teams like BMG and Sync that are going to be making their way over, it's going to be a big test. So I'm excited to see how they stand up.
Definitely. And one thing that I really picked up on them as well, kind of watching a couple of those episodes, at least skimming through it, the reality show that we're talking about. Again, several of the matches that they were casting of theirs, they were very animated. These guys were they were like up in their chairs, like screaming, excited, making it. And I feel like that's almost like, that's kind of like a Thailand thing too, because I feel like when we have gone to these events, that for the most part, their players do seem very animated, and they're not afraid to basically, what it seems like, shit talk one another as far as like the setup that they have the computers basically the backs of the computers will be facing towards each other, so in a sense they're almost looking at the other players, and they'll like look over the table and like point at them and like yell something in Thai to them, and I'm sure it was insulting of some sort. So anyways, I found that pretty fun, pretty cool to see, and really getting into it. So but as far as the experience goes, as far as not really having necessarily the pro experience at top tier, that definitely is going to be a hurt for them, I think we can all safely say. But these guys are one of my teams that I'm personally going to be really looking forward to seeing how they do because of that. So moving on to the next team here. I believe we're going to stick to Thailand. Yeah, we're going to be sticking to Thailand here. We got a name that you might recognize somewhat, Myth Hybrid. Now, we've known them as Myth S2Y, but now changing up a little bit here. They're now known as Myth Hybrid as far as their logo and name goes here. These guys, fantasy. What do you got on Myth here?
Yeah, the Myth Hybrid thing comes from after last World Finals, the Myth S2I team split up, and Tianza and Escape took the Sorry name with each other, and they brought in some MRR players, so they were basically the hybrid version of the top teams in the Thai scene. And well, they're just a very good team, very good, solid team. They like to get aggressive or active fairly early on. We talked about this yesterday in our little pre meeting or whatever. They have a very, very good carry. Minnie alluded to it. He's like very good at decision making, and I would compare him a little bit to like Slicks. He plays a very aggressive, very active kind of carry role. He ports into fights very early. He's not looking to static farm his lane all the time, not looking for those flashy GPM numbers through just the PvE factor of the game. But he gets involved, gets in the fights, and that's their game.
All right. Minnie, what did you find about these guys?
Yeah, definitely. Like the Ball X3 player is incredibly good. One of the best players, I think, in Thai at the moment. Not just because he's a carry player, but as I said, his decision making, and it's quite funny. I remember I was watching one game where he's playing Wretched Hag, and there was one point where I was like, "Oh my god, it's like a Thai version of Slicks." He ulted a creep wave, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is definitely Slicks esque in that respect." But yeah, he's a very, very strong player, active as well. And like he gets active on the heroes like Dark Lady, for example, which you wouldn't expect yet. Just because he's such good in terms of his decision making, he can get away with it in that respect. So definitely watch out for him. I think he's probably going to be the stand-up player. Definitely for Myth Hybrid, but also in terms of Thai in general. Very, very strong. The team in general, though, I know their offlaner is very, very he loves Pharaoh, always picks it, and can create a lot of space with it as well. I'm not a big fan of the hero itself, but he does make it work. So looking forward to sort of see it.
Yeah, one of the other players that a lot of people might recognize too is Mr. Suns. He's actually been to several of these events, both DreamHacks and GSL, and World Finals last year even, and definitely a player that I always look forward to watching from the region over there in Thailand and seeing what he brings to the table. He's their ganker here in this case for a Myth Hybrid, and definitely interested to see the big plays made by him. But yeah, Ball X3, Ball times 3, whatever you want to call him, that slick style of player. Those are always fun to watch too. So, is it safe to say, out of the Thai teams, do you think this may be the favored fantasy?
Yep, I would say.
I think so. Yeah, just given their most recent record, that they are just like shredding through the division. They are the reigning champions of the most recent cycle. They've been playing spectacular, and I think they are probably the top dog from Thailand. But then again, we thought the same thing for a couple of other tournaments, and then MRR just lined up to play better against the international playstyle or whatnot, and Hybrid got a little bit nervous, overplayed their hand a little bit. We saw that at two DreamHacks in a row. So we will see.
One thing I do want to point out that I didn't mention before, but if there's one team that almost is the signature team for Thai in terms of their use of Vald Rot, it's definitely this team here. I mean, I was watching, I think a game that Slapped and Keizu was casting actually, and I watched a couple of other games, and they use Vald Rot 24/7. It's incredibly crazy how aggressive this team actually is. Not only from their carry players, as we've mentioned before, but their mid and their offlane, and even in their supports as well. They are using Veiled Rot for like level 1, level 2 ganks, and there's non-stop aggression. And I think that in itself can definitely catch teams, particularly like BMG and Sync, definitely off guard because of how aggressive they are. They're not looking to farm heroes. They're not looking to farm creeps, excuse me. They're looking to farm heroes, and yeah, I think our international team were almost a little more resource control in terms of the jungle, and could definitely catch up off guard if they're not careful. So really looking to,
man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to their games especially. So
Active's always fun. Beef, you have anything to add about Myth here?
I think that the experience is their biggest thing. They've got Peter Yeds, and they've got, of course, their Mr. Sons on the mid lane, and of course the guys like Never Say and Ball that are going to have a plethora of experience from so many different LAN events with the international teams and without. I think that's going to give them the confidence to make the plays that they need to and to not choke once they're on that big stage. So I think that's their biggest edge right here. And like everybody's been saying, man, if they start on a roll of getting those ganks off, it just keeps on coming. Boom, boom, boom. Keep forcing those fights 4-on-5. And they can take over a game like that. So as long as they're able to build some initial momentum, I think they can take down any team in this tournament.
yep.
All right, we'll see how they perform. Perhaps Thailand's best chance at making some results happen. We'll have to wait and see there. Let's move on. The final team out of Thailand that is going to be representing that region. Again, one of the 4 teams here. Neo Sports MMR, or MRR. God, I hate, we always do that.
MMR.
Neolution Esports, MRR.
Neolution Esports,
Neolution Esports.
MRR.
2K players, boys.
MRR. Anyways, these guys, again, another name that you probably do recognize. They have been around for a little bit here as far as the team name itself. Again, also some of the players I'm sure you would recognize. Chidawan. I like that name there. Always fun to say, and solid player himself. Fantasy, who are these guys, and what should we expect out of them?
These guys are basically what I said earlier. They like to focus their entire game plan on a carry player, and the carry player is none other than Dukui, the guy we discovered last year at the World Finals, the one that impressed everyone in the games against SG, the one that won them games they had absolutely no business winning, and they tailor and tinker their entire game plan around him. They try to give him a bunch of space, try to get pick off somewhere else, try to maybe even die, like play the supports run somewhere and just get picked off, but they force rotations or something. They want to get Dukui involved and want to get a big farm for their game to work out. They need that kind of thing.
The Nova style support, as we like to call it. He is not afraid to sacrifice for the sake of the team. Fusen, yeah, more recently, yeah, he does that plenty. Mini, what about these guys here? Did you learn?
Yeah, so obviously, Fantasy was talking about the carry, but their mid player as well is really loves his Pandemonium. Actually, likes it a lot, and I think actually, in terms of the meta, in terms of how aggressive Thai teams are, they pick up a lot of heavy magic, and obviously because of that, the whole team is picking up a lot of Shrunken Heads, for example. Pandemonium is like one of the best heroes to counter Shrunken Heads because he's a mid hero that scales very well into the late game. His flurry and his ultimate obviously goes through, as well as his stun actually goes through Shrunken Head, and so it's going to be a very interesting sort of hero, not only about a player and team as well. Sort of see him because the Pandemonium, like I've always thought the hero is very strong, and to sort of see a team pick it up in a competitive atmosphere is going to be very interesting. And I'm looking forward to sort of see how he performs against like the teams like Sync and BMG.
Yeah, he's a really good hero against a hero like Swiftblade, who's picked up off.
Yep, as well,
especially in our region and just in general. So yeah, that was definitely one of the things that I noticed too. Yeah, that Chidawan there playing the Pandemonium in that middle. So. Looking forward to seeing that being busted out at the World Finals. Beef, what did you have to add about these guys here, MRR?
I think that, as we've all kind of said, I mean, Guiku, a.k.a. Punk Peng, he's the one to watch out for. Last year, Stay Green said, this is the guy that is going to win you games. This is a guy that is a massive threat. This is the team that, of course, with 2 of these players at least, did take down Stay Green in one game in the group stages, almost upset them 2-0 in that group stage. So if you allow Punk Bang the farm, allow him the space, he's going to take over that game. Doesn't matter who he's playing. That is what's going to happen. Outside of that, you got Cheetah One. And, of course, he's got a really hot girlfriend that's a Han player herself in the female scene.
Oh, really?
They split up?
She's single.
Oh.
What's this?
All right, buddy.
Minnie's got to swoop in.
There you
All right,
go.
boys.
Anyway, she was the leader of the #1 female team. And
she still is the leader, but she's just not.
still is.
But she's not the girlfriend anymore, so...
There you go. So... These are the important things. See, I'm playing the color caster right now.
Just point me in the right direction, Beef. I'll do the rest, right?
All right, buddy.
God.
All talk, Minnie. We'll see when we
These
get
guys.
there. We'll see when we get there.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, MRR right there again. Another name you probably recognize, like we're talking about. Definitely players that we know of. So another team that most certainly can make a splash, representing out of Thailand there. So. Only 3 more teams remaining, so we got a couple other regions now to go over here. The first one being out of Malaysia. The fun, interesting name. You Meet Wrong Opponents is their actual team name here. Again, coming out of Malaysia here. Yeah, you look at these guys. Obviously, they qualify the MSHL finals. Now, I know the Malaysian Han scene. It used to be fairly big, and it seems like it has died out a little bit as far as activity goes, but obviously it's still there, and this is the team out of it. And looking at these player names, personally didn't really recognize much. Fantasy, what can you tell us about these guys?
I personally don't know much about them, just that they qualified through MSHL, and they improved a lot throughout that season. The first, there were 2 seasons, or 2, I don't know how to call it, like 2 events, separate events. And in the first one, they were like one of the worst teams in that league. They took 6 or something, and then they suddenly exploded and figured out the game, figured out how to play together, and played really, really strong to win that season 1 championship. And I think Malaysia needs they need someone to look up to. It used to be Orange Esports, and for Singapore it used to be Impunity. Both teams are gone, so they need a new carry to carry that region in terms of a Han excitement.
Yeah. Minnie, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess there really wasn't much out there, honestly.
No, I don't think there wasn't. I don't think there was any video footage from what I could see about these guys. I think all I saw was an interview actually from, but they seemed experienced, but also very, very wanting to prove and show themselves. For example, for Thailand, I guess that's every team at the end of the day. Obviously, it's a massive event, but yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of see them. Obviously, if we didn't get to do too much research beforehand, so.
Yeah, this is one of these teams. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see kind of deal as far as what they're gonna bring to the table. I mean, all we have is the stats right now. And, you got certain cases like this. Like I'm looking at the Shana Lili, their carry player.
What a name!
I know, what a name indeed. He has a KD of 7.03. Now, honestly, not 100% sure how many games that's from, which games those were, and whatnot. To be fair, so that's pretty damn high. But yeah, obviously, take it into consideration. Not sure where that necessarily comes from, but yeah, that's gonna be fun to see what they bring to the table. Beef, I know you know all about these guys though. So what should we expect?
I absolutely do. And you know how I do, Breaky?
How's that?
Because these guys got eliminated in the very first round of the Sound Blaster Heroes League Season 2 qualifier number 4 for Southeast Asia. Yes, okay. I actually found that in my books last night when I was trying to do that. It was only one of the same players, but it was this team name, and they got dumpstered by another really bad team. So as Fantasy said, I mean, you go back like a year, these guys were not good. But hopefully they've made some big improvements here and are going to be able to show it on the main stage. Yeah. But I'm not confident in that 7K AD, man. That's like going 10-2-4 every single game. Like you're average. You have to average that. Something along those lines. That's pretty difficult against good opponents. Yeah. So I either question their stats or question how good their opponents are. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to dumpster all over Insania.
That's possible.
make them feed.
It's possible. Yeah, no, it's definitely these guys. I don't know how much faith I have in them, to be frank. But hey, you know, they qualify. They're here. They're going to be representing Malaysia to an extent, and we'll see what they do. But yeah, they're going to be a fun one to get an idea of what they're about. And you know, I'm sure teams like Sync and BMG. This would be one of those teams where you, in a sense, you probably hope they're in your group, but be careful with that because again, there really isn't anything out there as far as research goes. So you don't necessarily know what they're going to be doing. So 2 more teams in total to talk about. Now another team from a different region here. We got Indonesia on the plate, one of the other regions. And these guys, DCES one step closer. DCES, a tag that you've probably seen many times before from Southeast Asia that's been used quite a bit. This team name specifically is one step closer. Yeah, they qualified, obviously the Road to GSL 2015 was the event specifically that it was titled. So that's how they qualified. And they won an Indonesia SL. I'm not sure what that is, IHSL.
Star League.
Star League. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Anyways, Fantasy, what do you know about these guys?
I know that they played in the wildcard round.
Yeah.
And put up a really good fight against both the good Thai teams, against MRR and Hybrid. They fell just short. I think they almost upset MRR in a very, very close best-of-1 match. But they were basically the only formidable threat coming out of Indonesia. There was another Indonesian team competing in that wildcard round, and they just got shit on in all 3 matches.
Okay. So they're dominant from Indonesia, at least.
Yeah.
We know of them. Okay. Minnie, you need a little bit of research on these guys. What do you got?
Yeah, so this is the team especially that that to me their secondary support, they put a lot of focus in terms of making sure that secondary support scales well into the late game. So they won't have your regular second support like an extra Rapsy or an extra Glacius or an extra Rep. They'll be picking second supports like second support Vindicator, second support Fade, second support like Cersei, second support even Rally, for example. The supports that actually scale well into the late game, that honestly makes a lot of sense because I mean we talked about how a lot of the drafts here from the Thai teams are all about aggression, all about kind of early game, but obviously games will last longer in some cases, and it's always very, very important to have a secondary support that does scale well into the late game, like heroes like Vindicator or Rally, for example, whatever the case might be. And I think that gives them a very significant draft advantage because when the enemy team's picking up stronger Neds, at least that support is still going to be useful, even if they pick up a stronger Ned. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of see, particularly I think Huppy is their secondary support player, who's also their drafter. So looking forward to sort of see what kind of draft is going to bust out. So.
Yeah. Beef, anything to add about these guys?
I got to echo what Minnie was saying right there with their secondary supports, the scaling ones. I saw a couple games from back in the day where these guys used Hellbringer. And so that was one that I'm kind of excited to see because I forgot that hero was actually a thing for a while. The last time that I actually remember seeing it was once again in the SPHL Season 1, actually, when I believe it was Orange Esports, led by Mr. Ghost back then, and they picked the Hellbringer mid and proceeded to just actually wreck Stay Green with a Hellbringer mid. So that was the first time in like 600 games that I had seen a Hellbringer. Yeah. So maybe other teams will forget he's a hero as well, and he'll just hard counter them and they'll win.
That's possible, I guess. You never know.
I mean, who knows, man? There's like 120-something heroes.
There are a lot of heroes.
Sometimes you forget one of them exists.
And then they use it, and then you're like, oh, that's right, he sucks.
or he beats you, and then he loses in any other lineup, and then he loses like 0-18, and then you're like, oh, he sucks, except for that one situation.
Yeah.
That's when you should pick Hellbringer.
It's happening.
Never pick Hellbringer.
Expect Hellbringer at one step closer.
Not even.
I will say that this is a team at a again, kind of going through YouTube videos of the teams that I could, and these guys were the most aggressive to me. I mean, these guys, they were constantly getting the portal key heroes. They're constantly using those aggressively. One thing that you brought up, and you might have mentioned it, but to reiterate, the Soul Stealer, they like the Storm Spear strategy with the Soul Stealer. We've seen that recently, and the NAU scene even tried a couple times. So, but yeah, expect these guys just to be really active, and they're going to be a fun team to watch, I think. So, I look forward to casting 1 or 2 of their games at the World Finals, possibly more if they advance on. So, representing Indonesia, we'll see what they can do. So, well, that leaves us with one team left, and now, well, this should go quick. World Elite is the final team. They're out of China. I honestly don't even have the graphics ready for them. Kind of goes to show you just how little we really know about these guys. They're representing China. They are from China. World Elite, I will say this. Apparently, like they're a really well-known gaming organization in China. They're one of the top, and that's saying something. So that's pretty cool that's happening. They were sponsoring a Han team to come to this event, but on the other side of the spectrum, I don't know what to expect from the players. The little that I know that I've been told is that they do have a little bit of experience on the international Han client. So for those that are kind of wondering, are they up to date? Their client's a little bit different, balance and everything. They do have the experience necessary as far as the balance goes and everything, and with our client, so they will be used to that at least enough. But maybe don't expect the best play. I mean, that's just how I'm simply going to put it. They haven't been able to really practice the most. Obviously, credit all these other teams, and they're gonna be relying a lot on their individual skill. Beef was pointing out at the beginning of the cast that China specifically, they're known for being dominant in a lot of different esports for good reasons. Now, is that going to be the case in Han? Probably not, to be fair, but hey, you never know. You never know what these guys are going to do. So I don't know if there's anything else any of you guys want to add on that, but about this.
They're going to lose every game.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible, but one can hope.
I don't know, man. You might actually be surprised. I think that's all I'm going to say. And I have absolutely nothing to back this up with.
What?
But you might be surprised. And you know what? I lost a bet to Minnie about 6 months ago that have deprived me of one of my favorite foods for the past 6 months. And I'm looking to say that China is going to win one game, at least one game.
No, Beef. You want to make a bet, right? Let's make a bet right now. Again.
I mean,
yeah. All right. Let's go.
No more McGriddles. No more tea. It's the
but I already lost
You already lost McGriddles.
Okay, all right. What did you want to lose instead then, Beef?
I don't know, man. Maybe you have to grow facial hair.
You gotta actually grow facial hair if you lose.
I don't know, man. We'll figure out the terms, but I'm saying it right now. China wins at least one game.
No way. Okay, I'll put my gloves on the line, Beef. The gloves
on the line. All right.
If they're in the same group as you meet wrong opponent, maybe.
I mean, realistically, they're gonna be in either the Indonesian or the Malaysian teams group.
Yeah.
And even one of those Thai teams, the Chiang Mai Wardens, maybe they are not very good as well either.
They're way more experienced than too good for that to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just saying, have faith in China. They're number one in the world for some reason.
They can always feed off Russians. That's the Han thing.
Yeah, right. Well, it's that's definitely not gonna happen. Cats Gaming.
You think?
They're gonna go far, man.
Oh,
they're gonna go far.
I don't think so.
I think they are. I think this is their time.
They will find a way to lose every match.
Wow.
I have very high faith in that.
Well,
Cats was so sad last year.
Let's start.
They were so hyped, man.
Yeah, they were a disappointment last year. I'll say that. Yeah, that was unfortunate.
ITS was the disappointment before that, and GA Russia was the disappointment before that.
Russia just continues to disappoint.
Time.
Yeah, but this time, that's my line. This time, the Thai teams are gonna win a game.
Well, I think
that's all of our lines.
It's kind of the same for Thailand too, though. Like CIS as well. Like their scene has become very well developed compared to it was even a year ago. So you got to figure that factors into something. That's got to mean something when it comes to their play at this international.
Their scene was always developed, and they didn't do anything.
Fantasy. I'm sitting here trying to go
I tried for 3 years.
I know.
Cats Gaming are legit. Like they're really good.
Okay, so let's go around now. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Dark horse question. Who's your guys' dark horse? Obviously not Sync Esports. Basically, if you had to choose another team other than Sync Esports to do very well, who would be a dark horse for you guys that maybe we wouldn't expect to do very well, possibly even win the event? Mini, we'll start with you. Put you on the
Cats
spot.
gaming, man. Got to believe in the vodka Russians.
You're going with Cats. Okay.
Давай.
Давай, давай.
Давай.
Давай, сука, блядь,
Сука, блядь.
I'm looking forward to seeing Akamai. I believe he's going to be out there again. Akamai's an awesome caster. He's the.
Is he going to be there?
I hope so.
Doesn't he live in Thailand or something?
He visits there for business quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's what you call it, business side. Gotcha.
Business.
Gotcha.
Beef, who would be your dark horse team?
I was actually going to say Cats, and then I was going to say Myth S2Y, but I don't know if they're dark enough.
I don't know. That's really racist. Come on, man.
To win the whole thing, I can't possibly honestly see anybody but the two NAEU teams, Myth S2Y, or Cats winning it. Okay, because it's not going to be the Indonesian team, not going to be the Malaysian team, not going to be the Chinese team. It's not going to be Chiang Mai Wardens. So we already have the 4 other teams that are like either taken or not dark horse enough, which leaves me with either MRR or Ace. Ace or Dog.
Pick.
Pick somebody.
I'm going to go with MRR or Ace or Dog. No, I'm going with the Mad Scientists.
Okay.
That's it.
There we go. Ace
Right.
or Dogs.
I'm going with MRR. They seem to have it.
It's the last option.
No, you cannot say hybrid.
Hybrid wasn't dark enough. We already went over this.
You went over this.
Oh my god.
You're psychotic rand. I'm gonna pick MRR. I think they somehow can play up to a certain level when they play against international teams.
All right. For me, it would have to be DCES, man. I think Indonesia is going to surprise some people. Their aggressive play. And in best-of-1 format, the way that they were playing, from what I could tell, that's going to do some things, I think, in those group stages that may surprise a lot of people. So I'm not saying they're winning it all by any means, but I'm saying they're gonna have some pretty solid results and possibly make it out of group. So they're my dark horse team.
I don't think their logo's good enough.
The logo's pretty bleh, but I'm not basing it all on that, just partial.
They're number 9 or 10 in my logo rankings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one's 10? Which one would be down there then?
You mean wrong opponent?
You mean wrong opponent.
Wrong opponent.
Yeah.
It's also didn't even finish editing it. There's still some white marks in there, I'm seeing. And the R and the T's.
It's a process.
It'll eventually get there. All right.
Yeah.
Now, the ultimate question, who's going to win it? Does anyone have not Sync Esports? Anyone got the ball?
This year, I can't even say Orange Esports is going to win at all. This is a sad year for Han.
Orange Esports is not going to win at all.
It was my thing.
So is everyone on Sync's board then? Sync's boat?
I mean, you heard them earlier. They were goofing around pretty hard.
That's going to ruin everything.
One thing I will say, though, is that I think if Sync are going to lose, it's going to be to their own demise. And whether or what team sort of can capitalise on the mistake from Sync, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think if it's going to be, it might be a Thai team like Myth STY. No, Myth Hybrid. So
it doesn't seem like we're giving BMG love, man. I mean, because I feel like we keep going. Like, if it's not going to be Sync, it'll be one of the Thai teams. Like, BMG is going to this event. Are we all on the same page that we were a little worried about BMG and being a runner-up at least? I know I am.
I am. Yeah.
There's so many good teams though out in Thai. Like, it's really hard. Although one thing that should be said though is that they've been running obviously Legio Strat mid like for the last couple of weeks, month if not, and Thai teams are not going to be prepared for that. Well, they have no idea.
You would figure that they too are doing at least a little bit of research. I mean.
Yeah, but
okay. So let's talk a little bit about the format here. If we are to assume that the NAEU teams are split, BMG in one, Sync in the other, we go into a 4-team single elimination. If one of those teams takes first and the other takes second, they meet up in the semifinals.
That's
There's
true.
no way they can both go to the finals.
They could meet up in the semifinals, yeah.
All of a sudden, if one of them loses to MRR, one of them loses to S2Y, and the other one goes through in first, they're meeting up in semifinals.
Yeah. No, last year there was that fallback of having the 3 teams, of course. So that's a good point, actually.
I think there's actually a really, really good chance. I would say greater than 75% chance that we don't see NAEU take top 2 just because of that.
No, I agree. That's a really good point. Yeah, that's that could.
I know it is. I made it.
That could throw things off guard a little bit. There you go, confidence. And that also goes back to what you said. I mean, we don't even know about the group stages, how they're going to be selected. To be fair, so hey, for all we know, I mean, they're just going to be like everyone's naming it in this hat here that we just found. And I should bring the cup, actually, the trophy.
Oh God, the King of the Hill.
Yeah, the King of the Hill trophy.
Encore trophy.
Make sure we draw it out of that.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, that could be possible. So maybe they'll even be in the same group, and then that could also be crazy.
Yeah, but then they can meet in the final.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, if both of them move on from the group, you're forgetting that.
Well,
what if it's like BMG Sync, MRR Myth, and then like.
Yeah, what are the odds of that,
Elite.
though?
World Elite would be in there, so it's fine.
I would say rigged.
Wow, so rude. Poor Chinese guys. Just trying to make a point.
Anyways, so yeah, it's gonna be crazy though. It's gonna be a good event. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys, and like you're already seeing here with the website, the portal, and everything. This is just the beginning of what's to come. This podcast here, in a sense, is just that. There's plenty to come at you from some more videos to help keep you guys hyped, to information, to then when we're at the event. Not only is it March 28th and 29th are the dates, but the days leading up into those dates, of course, we will be out there. We'll be getting footage for you guys, from interviews to just obviously the drawing stage. That we're going to at least show bits and parts of to you guys and do the best with that. There'll be plenty of pictures and all that jazz. So constantly updated on HANtour.com. /World Finals. Definitely be attached to that website throughout next week, especially. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of coverage coming at you. So, with that said, I think that's going to start wrapping it up, though. Start wrapping it up here for today. So, good hour and a half here as far as looking forward to the World Finals. We'll start with we'll throw it around here. We'll start with Fantasy here. Fantasy, any shout-outs, any final words you want to make?
Shout out to Insania for ruining the first interview. Shout out to Complexity. I'm not going to go through all the sponsors. I leave that up to Beef. No?
I'll do him, don't worry. I'll do him.
Shout out to... You do it? You want that jersey so bad?
I do actually want to play this show. It looks so nice.
And shout out to everyone tuning in, I guess.
All right. Beef, what are the sponsors? Also shout-outs.
I'm not doing the sponsors. That'll take way too long. But, yeah, big shout-out to everybody watching at home. Shout-out to the Han team for inviting me to head on down to Thailand. All the teams that are prepping around the world right now to give us incredible finals. To the publishing team and design team that put together not only this amazing portal, but the videos and all the other things that we have coming out, like Hamcake's favorite toast. That's going to be the coolest thing ever. Thailand? We're bringing toast to Thailand, maybe waffles, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of cool stuff in store for Thailand. Shout out to Swindlemons for not being here.
We did get him to cast one time before the World Finals, at least, and
he's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Well, he'll learn soon enough that Dr. Repulsor is a popular pickup, though.
There you go.
Well, he'll be ready. No, I'm looking forward to having him there, definitely.
He's loading his laptop up with like 1,000 replays to watch on the flight over, and it's like a 29-hour flight, so I'm sure he'll have some stuff to watch.
Got some time. All right.
I forgot a shout out.
What's that?
For Katie for making that amazing art and stuff.
Yeah. No, Katie, yeah, the whole publishing team in general, really, but Katie.
I just know Katie. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Shout out to Katie, actually.
Minnie gets to go on a plane ride with Katie.
Yeah, I do. She's gonna be my guide. She's gonna be my guide. No, I'm gonna get lost in.
She's crazy. Prepare your butt. Not literally.
What? What?
Oh boy!
Oh wow! Fantasy just getting right into it.
Well, she's crazy, but not.
I don't think Fantasy's gonna get
Katie, we love you. Don't, whatever Fantasy says, it's on him. Don't. That's not on any of us.
Cool.
Oh boy!
Shout to Saint Rocks, what a cool guy, and shout to Complexity and their sponsors: Sound Blaster, Newegg, Creative, Twitch, Corsair Gaming, DX Racer, and Pornetware. Complexity was.
You're such a sellout.
I can't believe you.
Just really shout out.
This guy's not even part of complexity.
You guys better have a jersey for him, some headphones. I mean, you guys better get swag from Mitty. He's selling out hardcore for you guys.
I can bring him a DJ Rhapsody mouse pad.
There you go. That'll do.
I need jersey or nothing, boys.
He needs an autograph at least.
It's got a 550.
An autograph.
We're leaving in 3 days. I can't get you a jersey.
Just make it happen, Beef. You're a big man. Complexity.
I could bring you.
Even like the oldest you have.
Yeah, I could bring you Haxeren's old jersey from 2012.
Sold, mate. Done.
Dang, that would sell, man. That would.
Emperor did not wash that because it was given to Emperor, and then
even
Emperor
better, I'll sniff it in, and maybe I'll get good at carry.
It was not washed for over a year and a half.
That's fine. Don't worry. Maybe Haxeren's.
Haxeren doesn't get dirty though.
Haxeren's what?
If I get like Haxeren's, sweat, like rub it, I might be able to carry.
We need to finish this cast here. All right. Anyways, shout out to you guys for tuning in as always. The World Finals, guys. Check out the portal, HonTour.com. Again, a lot of work went into it. A lot of work's going into this event in general. Shout out to all the teams and players, as Beef was mentioning too. There, big shout out to these guys. They're going to be providing us this entertainment in the sense of the play, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I know you guys are as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next time live from Bangkok, Thailand at the World Finals. Have a good night, guys.